G Herbo, I was talking to his people about doing an interview, and ultimately he passed. But he did some podcast that got 678 views. Mm-hmm. Not 678,000, 678, less than 1,000 views. He spent an hour on this podcast, but he wouldn't do VladTv. But VladTv was interviewing him over and over again on his come up. But once he gets to a certain level, well, he don't want to do VladTv anymore because VladTV's the feds now and whatever. I feel like that's lame.
You're entitled to come here.
No, he's not entitled to do anything. No one's entitled to do, like, I don't feel he's entitled, but I feel like humans are naturally, like, what's the word that I'm looking for? Like, if you do something for someone, most humans will try to return that favor for you.
Reciprocate it, yeah.
Yeah. The reciprocal beings, right? I've learned over time that when people do something for me, I try to do something back. You know, like, I looked out for you when no one was checking for you. When you were just an up-and-coming artist. I did the Migos first interview. You haven't seen the Migos on VladTv in forever. Mm-hmm. You know, I did a lot. Big Sean's one of his first interviews. You haven't seen Big Sean in forever. They'll go and do other platforms. They'll do that white girl's, you know, podcast. Bobby Altaf, because she's kind of like quirky or whatever else. So it doesn't bother me. I don't feel entitled, but I feel like, damn, like we put together some dope work. And you go and pass on me to do some lame shit.
But you know the reason why, though.
Why is that?
It's a softball interview.
What's up, everybody? This is the world famous Ed Lover, and you are watching Forgotten Kings TV. That's right, Forgotten Kings TV. Come on, son.
Listen, y'all, Vlad is back in the headlines again. This time he's being put on blast by rapper G Herbo. That's right, y'all. Apparently, Vlad, in a recent interview, made some comments about G Herbo turning down an offer to come back on VladTv. And of course, Vlad was pissed. So moments ago, rapper G Herbo, he took to social media to go off on Vlad and respond to these comments he made in this recent interview. So y'all know how we do. Let's check out this clip from Vlad so we can hear exactly what was said about G Herbo. Then we'll get into G Herbo's response to Vlad in his comments. All right, so before we get into the clip, make sure you hit that thumbs up, share this video, and also leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can get the latest uploads as soon as it hits the channel. All right, so that being said, let's get right into these comments made by Vlad about G Herbo turning down an interview. All right, Vlad was pissed, and this is what he had to say.
G Herbo, I was talking to his people about doing an interview, and ultimately he passed. But he did some podcast that got 678 views. Mm-hmm. Not 678,000, 678, less than 1,000 views. He spent an hour on this podcast, but he wouldn't do VladTv. But VladTv was interviewing him over and over again on his come up. But once he gets to a certain level, well, he don't want to do VladTv anymore because VladTV's the feds now and whatever. I feel like that's lame. G Herbo, I was talking to his people about.
All right, y'all heard. That was Vlad's comments about G Herbo turning down an invite to return back to Vlad and his platform, VladTv. So, of course, not long after, G Herbo responded to Vlad in his comments. All right, so this is what G Herbo had to say in response to Vlad in his comments. Make sure I pull this up on the screen for y'all. But yeah, man, G Herbo went in, and this is what he said. Vlad, you didn't do shit for me. Like, nothing at all. You think the interviews that we did in the past is what blew me up? You gotta be shitting me. You called me every time, not the other way around. I obviously had some kind of motion. I didn't know who the F you was when I first did an interview. I promise. I wasn't even in the loop back then. I just showed up wherever my team told me to. And I'll do another podcast and get 2 views. I do not. Or should I say, I do what I want to do. There we go. That's the exact reason why I'm not pulling up on your goofy ass. Because you care about views. That's why you do and ask the shit you ask. I'm not effing with it. I don't like what you represent, and you got no principle. You don't give a F about me or anybody else you interview. You get a homie killed and sent to jail and be on the next victim you take advantage of for clicks and views. F you, buddy. Dang. Listen, man, it's obvious. Yeah, G Herbo's never going back to Vlad and his platform. He's part of a long list of people who's agreed to never return to Vlad. And it's simply because of Vlad and his character as a person, man. He's in Black culture, of course, right? Creating content. He gets criticized a lot because for some reason he loves to ask these questions that eventually come up in the court. And, Vlad will tell you time and time again that he's never, his interviews have never gotten anyone arrested, right? Because again, let's be real, no one's being forced on the platform. They're being paid to show up to do a Vlad interview. But again, a lot of artists, at least recently, they're being very mindful, shall I say cautious, when going on a Vlad interview, because it's for a very specific reason when it comes to Vlad. Okay, I've seen it. We've all seen it, where an artist gets murdered, and the person who took that artist's life, Vlad, will break his neck to essentially do content with this person. You get what I mean? Now, earlier this year, G Herbo called out academics and Vlad, right? Challenging them to donate money to Chicago, considering all of the money they made off of covering, artists within Chi-Town, right? Or should I say drill artists? There we go. The culture of drill rap. People feel like it was a lot of money on the coverage of these artists during the time. And he feels like, Vlad and academics and other platforms who are deemed as those who exploited the culture, they should have a responsibility to those that they reported on. But as we all know, academics specifically, he wasn't failing at, calling out G Herbo, right? And his hypocrisy based on the music that he puts out there in the world. I mean, listen, we've seen this time and time again when it comes to individuals like academics, right, within media, Vlad, being called out, on their bias reporting or just their way of creating content. Like I said, Vlad, his criticism is much different from academics, but at the same time, these are both two people within media who created a platform speaking on drill music, you know what I mean? And really trying to get to the dangerous part of, what we initially call out within the rap game. So now we got G Herbo, who's now being criticized by Vlad because he's refusing to go back on VladTv. And Vlad, he honestly believes that he helped made artists like G Herbo's career. And I'm sure it's the same when it comes to academics whenever he's interviewing certain artists. Like I said, man, a lot of politics being made. But like I said, now you got G Herbo being criticized for going on other platforms and, not necessarily getting the same traffic as a Vlad, right, or academics, but yet this is his stance. And from what we see, he's not backing down, and rightfully so. Artists need to move cautiously, right? They need to be more mindful of the things they're saying in these interviews because, again, this isn't new. We've heard Vlad, getting his feelings whenever, someone turns down his offer. We've seen it with Marlon, after Marlon said he wanted not only upfront money, but he wanted some, you get what I'm saying, some back end money off of the content, right, that he's initially making revenue from. So, at the end of the day, it just shows that Vlad and individuals like himself, they have zero cultural awareness when it comes to the culture they make money in. And this is going to continue if people, continue to go on the platform. But y'all let me know, man. What are your thoughts on G Herbo going off on Vlad after hearing his comments about G Herbo refusing to go back on VladTv? It seems as if Vlad feels entitled, This interviewing space has gotten very messy, man. And this is why we either see people end up, being paid to create false narratives, right? And you've seen what happened with the Diddy situation. This could be a dangerous space when it comes to this content creation, especially when we're talking about this new age journalism and hip hop media. Like I said, man, it's the wild, wild west out here. And Vlad is just one of many content creators who is, you know, in it for one reason and one reason only. And that's for the engagement. That's for the views. So y'all let me know. What are your thoughts on G Herbo and his response to Vlad? Do you stand with G Herbo and, you know, his stance of not returning back to VladTv? Or do you side with Vlad and others who call out G Herbo and his hypocrisy? Again, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. But with that being said, that's all I got for y'all today. Again, my name is Sensei Rip. Till next time. Peace.